Hey, good morning, Amanda. Right now, medics are treating 4 people for injuries. They say that their injuries are from smoke inhalation. The fire is under control. We're actually on the opposite side of the interstate, so we can see the fire, or the smoke rather, that was coming out of the 3rd story of this apartment complex. You can see a lot of crews still on scene. We know Austin Police also responded, and we have a couple of medics with Austin Travis County EMS here. But like I mentioned, the fire is under control, but there is heavy damage to building 3. It's an apartment complex in the 8800 block of North I-35. Crews arrived around 3:30 and reported seeing fire coming from the 3rd story. Firefighters requested for backup, and then about 45 minutes later, the fire was under control. Austin Police responded here to the scene, and they had shut down the southbound side of I-35 and the frontage road. I'm assuming it's because the complex is right along the interstate. It appears that those lanes are back open. We still don't know the cause of the fire. Back to the studio. Yeah, good morning, Amanda. The fire is under control. 4 people have been transported to the hospital. We know a 5th person is being checked out to see if they have any injuries that need to be transported as well. But 2 of the injured are children and have been transported to Dell Children's Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. They're being treated for smoke inhalation. A woman in her 20s has serious injuries. An adult man has non-life-threatening injuries. Both were taken to Dell scene for smoke inhalation and burns. As I mentioned, the fire is under control, but there is heavy damage to building 3. This is an apartment complex located in the 8800 block of North I-35. Crews arrived around 3:30 this morning and reported seeing fire coming from the 3rd story. Firefighters requested for backup. Then about 45 minutes later, the fire was under control. Austin Police responded because they had to shut down parts of the interstate and the frontage road, and that's because this apartment complex is right along the frontage road. All lanes are back open at this hour. The Red Cross is assisting with those affected by this fire. We're told about 20 units have been affected. No word yet on what caused it. Reporting live in North Austin, Jacqueline Sarkisian, Fox 7 Austin News. Hey, good morning, Casey. The fire is now under control, but we know that 5 people are injured, and those 5 people had to be taken to the hospital. The 5th person is a pregnant woman, and Austin Fire says actually a 6th person should be transported, but that person is refusing treatment. About 50 people are displaced this morning after this apartment building fire in North Austin. The Austin Fire Department is still here on scene, and EMS says 2 children were among the 5 people hurt. The fire started around 3:30 this morning at the 8800 block of North Interstate 35. AFD says building 3 suffered heavy damage and that the weather did not help this fire. Medics say they took 2 adults to Dell City Medical Center with burns and smoke inhalation. The 2 children were transported to Dell Children's Hospital to be treated for smoke inhalation as well. Like I mentioned, a pregnant woman was just taken to the hospital out of precaution. Austin Police also shut down most of the southbound lanes and the frontage roads of I-35 because, as you can see, this apartment is very close to the interstate. The Red Cross is here on scene assisting with those 50 people that have been displaced. Still no word yet on what caused this fire and how much damage it did. Reporting live in North Austin, Jacqueline Sarkisian, Fox 7 Austin News. Hey, good morning, guys. Thankfully, the fire is now under control. We've only got a couple of units here on scene as they try to determine what caused this fire. But like you guys mentioned, roughly 40 to 50 people are displaced. A total of 5 people had to be taken to the hospital. 3 of them are adults and 2 are children. One of the adults was a pregnant woman, and she was kind of just taken out of precaution. But there's heavy damage to building 3 of this apartment complex in the 8800 block of North I-35. Crews were able to get it knocked out pretty quickly, but it was quite the large scene here. Austin Police had to shut down all the southbound lanes and 2 of the frontage roads to get some access to this apartment complex. But we know that the Red Cross is here assisting, and hopefully as the morning progresses, we'll find out what caused the fire and how much damage it actually did. Back to you in the studio. Well, of those 5 people, 3 are adults and 2 are children. 1 is believed to have serious injuries. All of these people are being checked out for smoke inhalation and some burns. I know some of the children were reportedly having burns from this fire, but fire broke out just around 3:30 this morning. Crews were able to get it under control about 45 minutes after. There was quite the large scene here. Austin Police had to block several of the frontage lanes as well as the southbound lanes of I-35, so fire units can easily access this apartment fire. It's located in the 8800 block of North Interstate I-35 just south of Runberg Lane. AFD says building 3 of this apartment complex suffered heavy damage, and this weather did not help because of this cold snap we're experiencing this morning. But medics say they took 2 adults to Delsey Medical Center with burns and smoke inhalation. 2 children were transported for smoke inhalation as well. Then that 5th patient was a woman. She was just taken out of precaution because she is pregnant. The Red Cross is here helping those displaced residents. There's about 50 residents that have been displaced, a total of 24 units affected. At this point, we still don't know what caused the fire and the extent of the damage. Back to you. Hey, good morning, guys. Well, Austin Fire is still here on scene helping with those affected by this fire that happened earlier this morning. But they did release some new information just a couple of minutes ago. We now know that the cause of the fire was accidental and from improperly discarded smoking material. The fire started on the 3rd floor balcony of this apartment complex and then quickly extended into 2 apartment units and into the attic. Austin Fire had to use an aggressive approach. There was about 60 firefighters that were called out, 20 units. We know now 40 people are displaced, 5 people are injured. 2 of those are children. They are taken to Dell Children's with non-life-threatening injuries. One of the adults that was injured was a pregnant woman. The fire started around 3:30 this morning at this apartment complex. AFD says building 3 suffered heavy damage and that the weather did not help.
The fire today was spread a little bit more rapidly because of that north wind that we have. We've had a lot of smaller events with the heater malfunctions and our air conditioning systems, heating and air conditioning systems, trying to keep up with the snap from 80 degrees to 30 degrees and back to 80 degrees. So that tends to put a lot of stress on them. So we've had some smoke from air conditioning systems, heating systems.
And the kids themselves, I think they kind of are the thing that people kind of are drawn to. So the kids really don't even realize what's happening. They just know that they're up early. There's a lot of lights, a lot of sounds. It's different. The parents, I think, are a little somber but a little tired. You know, it's tough. This is like for some residents the worst day of their lives.
And that was a communications director with the Red Cross. She answered my question when I asked her kind of the mood of what is going on with these people since so many people are displaced. Right now, crews are working to restore power. Obviously, the Red Cross is here assisting, and they're expecting to be out here for several hours throughout the morning into the afternoon. Back to you guys in the studio. Well, the last fire truck just left here. There were roughly 20 fire units when the fire first broke out. Now that it's daylight, we can see some of the damage that this fire caused. You can see extensive damage from the chimney in the 3rd story area where that fire broke out. We know the cause of the fire was accidental and started from improperly discarded smoking material on the 3rd story balcony. 5 people have been taken to the hospital. 2 are children with non-life-threatening injuries. They're being treated right now for smoke inhalation. 2 other people, one is a woman in her 20s, has serious injuries, and an adult man has non-life-threatening injuries. A 5th woman was taken just as a precaution because she is pregnant. The fire is completely out, and there is a lot of water and smoke damage to building 3 of this complex. 24 units are affected, and 40 people had to evacuate. Crews arrived here around 3:30 in the morning and reported seeing fire coming from the 3rd story. It took about 45 minutes to get the fire under control. Crews had to use a quick, aggressive approach to knock it out. Red Cross is here assisting with those displaced residents.
And the kids themselves, I think they kind of are the thing that people kind of are drawn to. So the kids really don't even realize what's happening. They just know that they're up early. There's a lot of lights, a lot of sounds. It's different. The parents, I think, are a little somber but a little tired. You know, it's tough. This is like for some residents the worst day of their lives.
The apartment managers are also helping with those affected. We know that the fire caused about $125,000 worth of damage. Back to you.
Jacqueline Sarkeesian reporting. Thanks, Jacqueline.